like, I'm like, dude, that's like me saying I'm gonna let my business fail.
I had about 100K in my 401, you know, and I had about 20 something years to go for retirement.
About 7 months ago, he was living a whole nother life.
There's gonna be those days, dude, where you're gonna like, dude, I'm doing all this for everybody. I gave up everything for everybody, and then
when you don't have a plan B and you say, hey man, I'm done with this, I'm gonna,
All right, guys, welcome to the pod. So I'm Alex with MDC and Landscaping Experts. We got Stan. You know, let them know who you are, Stan.
Yeah, basically, I'm Alex's right-hand man at Landscaping Experts. I help operate and oversee the whole company whenever he's not around. And then for MDC, I'm essentially the same thing, but, an admin, oversee everything, and, help with the calls, stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. And then who we got to the left of me, man?
Saul, man. Saul, we'll let him do his own intro, but we have Saul here from MDC. Saul, tell him a little bit about you, and then tell him how you got here today.
Yeah, I'm from El Paso. I'm from Texas, and I actually have no idea how I ended up here. A month and a half into this, I'm like, well, I'm sitting in Chicago. Probably about 2 months into the program. I feel very blessed to be here. Obviously, it's a big opportunity to me, and I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So just so you guys know a little more context, Saul is part of MDC. He's part of our program where we help contractors scale. We do giveaways every month, and Stan came up with the idea of saying, hey, you know what? Whoever wins the giveaway this month, let's fly him out here, get him into a hotel, spend a day with them, and come to find out he likes working out too. So I'm like, man, dude, let's make it a full day. Workout, podcast, take you out to eat, take you out to some job sites, and now he's here. So I'm pretty pumped, and it's definitely an honor to have you here too, as well. I think connecting with people is really one of the biggest things that drives me currently. So I appreciate you being here, man. I think before we get into it, let's really quickly let's get into what is, and I'll let you tap in as well, Stanley. What is MDC? MDC, modern day contractor. Short version of it is, what is MDC? MDC is a place where we help contractors scale anywhere from just starting their business all the way up to past $1 million in less than 6 months. Saul here has been in business for 7 months. And he's already having 70K months, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I'll let him tell you guys more about it, but that's the gist of what MDC is. So if you're a contractor and you want to scale your business, or if you've been in business for 10, 15 years, you're in the same spot, MDC is where you got to be at. So we'll make sure we plug MDC here with the link below. But Stan, what's your version of telling them, obviously, because there's a lot more to it, right? What is your version of when they ask, like, what is MDC?
Yeah, it was funny. We were talking to the crew here before. MDC, I'd look at it more as a mindset, right? When I think about MDC, it's something that I always, even though I wasn't a contractor before, right? Before I came into this, 4 years ago, I didn't even know what a paver was. Yeah. But it's more so surrounding yourself with the right people, the right information, and if you're lucky enough to find the right information, the right people, you can really change things around. Like I said, I did not know what a paver was 4 years ago. Now I operate and oversee everything for his company. That's just how tight he has his systems, and it doesn't matter who comes in, right? It's kind of like that McDonald's model. So if you can find somebody that has that, that information, or they have the systems in place, dude, you found some gold. So, that's, Alex started that up because at the end of the day, when he was 15, you took over the family business. He didn't even have a choice, right? He had to help out his family. And for 10 years, man, he did it the wrong way because he didn't have the right information. There was YouTube, but there wasn't they were making videos how to handle customers when they don't want to pay, what to do with subs, this and that. So he wanted to be that person that he wished he had, right? And then again, it goes back to what he said. We just love the fact that we get to connect with people because that's really where it's at. Even in business, I feel like that's where Alex is one big that I see. That's different from what, if you want to call it competition, is that he doesn't look at it as we're just doing a patio for this homeowner. He's looking at it as I just created a new, connection, relationship. Yep. And that's why, I feel like you've been so successful. I mean, there's many other things, but, we have so much referral work because of that, because you keep your word. You said it on the drive here. We were talking about, you said, look, What did you say?
Yeah, I talked about because Saul brought it up, and I think that's something that clicked with him is like relationships is what makes you the money. And I said, you know what? I've always looked at. I think people try to dig into other people's pockets rather than gaining their trust. And because Saul said, hey, listen, man, all I've been doing just recently is just gaining people's trust, and I've been making. I used to make $70K a year. Now I make $70K a month. So that's where that thought came from, right? Because I'm like, dude, it really hit me. And I'm like, man, that's all I've been doing my whole life is not digging into people's pockets, but essentially just earning their trust. And you will never have to dig into their pockets. These people will take the money out of their pocket and hand it to you. But if you continuously try to dig in people's pockets, I can promise you that money's going to be running further and further away from you. So, if you adapt to that mentality, say, hey, listen, I'm here to earn your trust, they will take that money and hand it to you. Obviously, you have to deserve it, right? And then we go back to it. You have to give them more, what they paid for and more. But that's just part of the job. That's the easy part. So
yeah, that would be my thing. Is that with MDC, I look at it more as a family. I call it MDC family for that reason. So, look at this, man. We just met Saul. I've never met him, a day in my life other than being in the group. About 2 months ago, he joined, right? It's the first time he's a solid guy. He's got a lot, think about it. 7 months ago, again, we'll get into his story. He was living a whole nother life. Now look at this, right? So it's just the power of, you're one piece of information away or one connection away from changing your life. So that's where, I see MDC. I'm like, man, we got something awesome here, and we enjoy it because, again, we get to connect with people like this and watch them grow. So
yeah, it's dope. So let's get into that. So we'll make sure you got the mic close to you. Tell everyone where, very first thing is, how did you hear about MDC, and the second thing is, tell everyone where you started and where you're at now.
So I started my business about 7 months ago, but before starting my business, I was actually a GM manager for a retail store, and I actually did that for 21 years. And once I was a little kid, but one day I just got fed up with the shit. I was like, man, I don't know. It's like everybody. You just know when your time is to go. So what I did, actually, my story is like I had about 100K in my 401, and I had about 20-something years to go for retirement. And I remember that, man. Everybody would be walking around there talking about how if they got lucky, they would retire with $1 million, if you keep stacking all this shit on your 401. And, I remember that. And I was like, man, 20 more years, and into this shit, hoping that they don't fucking fire me in those 21 years. I said, nah, man, So I cashed out my 401, and I was doing Rockwall on the side with some buddies of mine, And we're doing a lot of money with that, on the side. So I say, hey, man, I got the money. You guys want to go into business with me? That was the first mistake I did, though, trying to start something with somebody. That obviously didn't work out because they didn't see my vision, And my vision is obviously to grow as big that all of El Paso knows who Cinco Mosqueteros is and the brand that I'm building, As you guys can see, man, I'm all branded, I got my guys all branded. I got my truck branded. Banners all over the city. I'm making a name for my brand, And I think it's a lot. It's just what is written out for you in life already, right? Because I think maybe modern day contract was something that was already planned for me, Because thanks to the knowledge that I've gotten off the program, it's definitely helped me grow. And I'm talking in about the short period of time, My Facebook has grown, my revenue has grown, my people skills has grown. All around, I'm growing, And it kind of makes me feel as I'm just gonna grow so big. Then,
It's been within how long? We started what,
two and a half? I think.
Yeah, 2.5 months.
And it's you gotta adapt to shit, though. You can't expect it to. And I think you've talked about it. You could teach us.
Well, tell them, man. Tell them what it means. Tell them why it's worked, because a lot of people, that's why we qualify not to get in the group, because I need to see that you have a good head on your shoulders before you hop in, because tell them how it works, why it worked. It's not just me.
Well, I don't. Did he do a roadmap call?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
that was he's one of the first ones then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say is that roadmap. So we used to do the group. We're always evolving to help the guys in the group. So we're taking feedback, right? We at the end of the day, people just get in the group. It doesn't do anything for anybody. We don't.
They think
we
that
don't,
just by paying into the group, that's it. So that's why I want him to go into what's the other. Obviously, 1 + 1 is 2, but what's the other part of the equation that most people miss? Like all those people that we're talking about.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing. Like when you, set up, that's why we took that feedback. We created a roadmap call with Alex to make it possible. And he's an example of one of the first guys. Look at that, 2 months in, you're a couple pieces of information away from changing your life. And how we used to have it, we throw you in the group and you got all this information. We're always making these new videos, but it's like, that's information overload. It's like, there's so many things you can do in your business, but what are the key 5-6 things you got to go tackle right now? And that's why that call is so important. So anybody that comes in now, like Alex said, they have to be onboarded correctly. We need to make sure they're a good fit. And obviously he took the advice, ran with it, and ever since, look at this, man.
But I think the biggest part is that's unspoken sometimes is action.
Yeah.
And him from day one, we gave him his roadmap. I said, dude, these are the 3 to 5 things that, because a lot of people get in this call, they're like, oh man, they're gonna tell me 15 things or something that I don't know. Like, dude, I told him, like, listen, don't worry about anything else. Go do these 5 things, and then I promise you, shit's gonna change. And he the biggest thing that he did was action. He took action. That's why we never really heard from him from the group again until he won the giveaway, and he popped up. He's like, "Yo, man, I'm doing this." And I was like, "Man, never even heard from you again." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I just been taking action."
Yeah.
And in the process, there's going to be failure too, and that's just part of the game too. I mean, I've done a lot of mistakes, so it's about fixing them. It's about how you react to the mistake, and you just got to bounce back up, man, because you'll stay down.
Yeah, the mistakes are going to happen, dude. That's what we always tell people. It's like, but take action, and then remember, you guys still have access to me and my team. Like, take action when you fail, post it in the group, and then I'm going to help you. But if action is never taken, then mistakes are never going to happen. Meaning results are never going to be there.
But I always say, it's you get wins, you're going to have growing pains right after. They're new growing pains that you haven't experienced yet. So it's like that's another big thing about this group that I love so much is, it's kind of a love or hate relationship because there are guys like this, right? They're not as strong as you, right? They'll come in and they get a lot of wins because of the information. They go kill it with sales, but then they get hit with the growing pains and they forget, hey man, they to themselves, they're like, hey, I'm going to stop what was working, getting feedback, asking questions. And I get it. A lot of stuff happens and you get hit with a lot of shit, the new growing pains. Yeah, it's scary. And in real time, I just got to figure this stuff out. When you have access to someone like Alex, or even if it's not Alex, right? Just making sure you have someone in your corner that's like, hey man, like I always use this analogy, right? Like I think a past mentor told me this. He's like, I'm in the chopper, you're in the fucking weeds.
Yeah.
And I see where you're going, but if you don't tell me what you're seeing in the ground, I can't help you make sure you're going the right direction. But I know where you need to go, right? So it's like I see a lot of people come in the group, they fucking rock it, and then they go ghost. Because they get hit with the growing pains, and a lot of people aren't strong enough to make it through that. But obviously, you are, man, and you keep showing up. You're taking action, like he says. So it's only the beginning.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where you go. Where you did. Honestly, everything happens for a reason, man. Just like it. True, I've always believed in that. And it sounds so lame saying it, but it's hate it or like it, like it's true. You started 7 months ago, the business, you started, but it's like you did all the right things and you had all the right intentions. I mean, you even got screwed by partnerships. You kept up, and now this is here. So like I said, this is very well deserved, this opportunity that you got to get in front of the right information. And yeah, man, it's only 2 months. Think about where we're going to be in another 7 months, which is kind of crazy to say because it's not even a year and a half. 14 months into business, it's like into business, like where are you going to be at? We're hitting 70K month already. Where are we going to be at in double the time?
I think one thing, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like one thing I see with that guys killing the group or people like Alex, people that are successful is at some point in time, they got rid of their plan B. And that's what happened here, man. You need, like, I see a lot of people, even if you're not working a job, right, or whatever, you're doing side jobs, even in a family setting, in our industry, there's a lot of family business, right? And I see a lot of the younger guys, like, want to help their dad out or whatever, but they're okay living in the basement. They're okay, like, that, you know, whatever it is, like, they still have a plan B, you know what I'm saying? Because they're like, oh, my dad still got me, whatever it is. It's a job. You're not taking over the business. You're just trying to get better at your job. But when you don't have a plan B and you say, hey, man, I'm done with this. I'm going to, hey, you know, worst push comes to shove, I go back, whatever, but I'm going to make this thing happen.
You know, I'm going to let you go into this because this is pretty dope. He told us a little bit of that's why I'm like, man, that's why I wasn't talking a lot in the car, because I'm like, man, let's save you for the podcast. But it's pretty, believe it or not, dude, for me, it's pretty inspiring as well on my end. And I'm intrigued by things like the story you told me about your son. And it goes back to what Stanley said about you got rid of the plan B, and I feel like the people that put themselves, or a lot of times we end up in a situation where we're in a lot of pain, not by choice, but by, you know, life putting you in that position. I feel like it always comes back to those are the people that get the most results. You know, I relate to your story because, you know, obviously we're family people, and when it comes to us feeling like we're gonna fail our family, like, I think we pushed the hardest, and that's why I thought it was a pretty dope story that I want you to tell, you know, about your family in general and your son. Like, what I had a very similar pinnacle point where I was having my first child and I had no money or no time to give this kid, and then, you know, I went from one kid to three. 1 to 3 was a big jump. So it's like those were just the biggest pushes for me. That's why I think it'd be cool for you to tell the story about your son or your family, however much you want to share of, like, because it's a big push, dude. It's got to be a big push, not just that time, but every day.
Yeah, definitely. So I have my youngest son. He was diagnosed with Down syndrome, you know, and obviously when somebody gets that type of news before he was born, it's like your world just collapsed, you know, because you're like, man, I'm having a disabled child, my life is gonna go down, and you just think the worst. Anybody's world collapses when you get that kind of news, you know. But no, man, my son was born and he was the best thing that happened to us, you know. Like, he just brings he brings light to the house, you know. But I mean, obviously he struggles with medical conditions, you know.
There's struggle. Yeah.
And this past December, actually, man, it was tough. I mean, I think right before Christmas, he ended up in the hospital with RSV and pneumonia, you know, and here he is about 18 months old fighting for his life. You know, they had him intubated for about 2 weeks, and, you know, it was hard. And, you know, I was running the business with my son in the hospital, you know. In between, you know, I would go spend the night. In the morning, I'd be out in the field. I'm trying to do everything as I can, you know. But my wife, she worked for Albertsons as well, and you know, like, after that, long story short, I figured, like, my wife,
you gotta man up.
Yeah, my wife can't work no more, you know. Like, the part of the reason why he was getting sick is because we had him in daycare, and obviously daycare is like,
it's not the same yeah. I mean, they can only do so much.
Yeah, no, but he was getting sick with all the
bacteria.
Yeah, and I mean, man, my wife got out of working because, you know, she has to be at home, and my son has gotten a lot better since she's been at home. But, you know, like, failure's not an option to me, you know. Like, I got to make this work.
Yeah, it's
like every day there's somebody that's depending on me, you know, and I mean, obviously all of us, but seeing him in his deathbed just changed my mind stage, you know what I mean?
It's deep, man. And that's what I'm saying, dude. It's just, to me, like, honestly, that gives me chills just thinking about it. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I know for a fact that you're not gonna fail, dude. And I you know, so like you said, things are gonna happen. You got screwed over, but to me, I don't consider that failing, right? And that's why I know for a fact that, like, I'm yet to find somebody that is successful that had to go through certain. I actually asked this question on the podcast last time. Like, do we? Is it a proven thing that we have to go through certain things in our life to be able to pull something good out of it, because I just find that that's a pattern. Everybody that I speak to, whether there's somebody that's very successful, whether it's somebody that's on the way up like you, it's like, man, I just, behind that story of greatness, there's something, you know, that put you in a corner to almost, like you said, cry, because it's like you felt like your whole world had to crumble. Like, something interesting, right? Like, do we really have to be in that position, in that rock bottom, to have that success on the other side? And something I've yet to, you know, prove to see if it's needed or not. But yeah, it's pretty, like I said, to me, it's a pretty inspiring story now, 7 months into business. So think about 2 years from now when you're at a whole different level, and that story is going to be told, dude. It's, yeah, like I said, it's very inspiring, man. To me, it's pretty dope that, you know, you, like you said, you don't really have, I know you're going to win, and I can put my money on it, because what other option do you have?
That's right. I ain't got no option, you know. Plus, I don't know how to quit, you know. I'm not a quitter.
I love that, man.
I always push, man. You know, and if, trust me, you're going to want to quit a few times, you know. The trick is just shake it off and get up and do it again. Stop being a bitch, you know.
That's it, man.
Hey,
that's a clip right there, man.
Thank you for sharing that, dude, because believe it or not, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, may be going through something similar. You know, maybe not exactly, right, but you know, people in that dark moment before they, you know, start their business or whatever, they're thinking, man, my whole world's collapsing. Like Alex said, we've all been at that point, right, where you're like, man, I just don't think I'm going to get out. You don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. You're just doing the motions. And then, but you hear something like that, dude, it can help a lot of people. So even though right now you're just getting started, I'm telling you, like he said, dude, a year from now, whatever, you know, things can change like crazy. So, you know, again, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, man, that's why I wanted to share that story, because for that, Stanley, and also, like, man, people are probably going through something that is not half as worse as that, like, not half as bad.
That as well, yeah.
And I don't consider that bad, dude. Like, it's a blessing, right? Another good point, like, a lot of the things that we go through, dude, we, at that point in time, like, he's bringing up a lot of good points. You're like, at that point in time, you feel like it's something horrible. It's like, dude, you know, God, in my opinion, you know, even I'm not religious, right? But I feel like the man above won't give you something you can't handle. As bad as it might seem, like he knew he could handle that situation there. It's like, and then again, like I said, it's a blessing. Dude, he just said it. It's a blessing to have, you know, that baby in his life. Like, who knows? It was just set. It was set in stone that it was supposed to happen. But a lot of the times, when in that point in time, when those things happen to you, you think the worst, and you know, like you said, it's something. It's like, I wouldn't even say it's like the worst thing that happened to me. It's like, no, dude, it was probably the best thing that happened to you.
It did, you know, and now we see it. You know, now we see it. Now I go home, and he's just a light. You know, like, he's just. You remember why you have to fight. You know. And
come home tired, and you're like, man,
yeah.
he's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. I was out walking around, and I'm fucking tired, and I'm gonna complain.
Yeah, and you know, it's all good. You know what I mean? We just push through it, man. You'll be all right.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. It's inspiring for me as well, dude. So let's go into. I'll ask one more question, then Stan, I'll let you see if you have any questions. But I do want to ask, like, has the MDC mentorship played a role in your career? And I want you to pick what's one thing that has stuck with you that you've received, you know, that's been part of the mentorship? Like, what's the one thing where you're like, dude, I carry that with me every day, like, that I just stuck with me?
I mean, there's a lot, you know. There's a lot. The list is endless, you know. But like I told you this morning, I said one of the best things when I spoke to you, and you're like, man, F your competitors. You know what I mean? I think that was the best thing, because I kind of like, I think I was so worried about my competitors before that. You know what I mean? And now I know that my competitors are not doing what I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? I ain't got to worry about them. Stay focused, you know. Stay focused. Follow the freaking SOP. Freaking do what you got to do. Don't worry about them.
Show up looking good, feeling good, follow SOP, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah, and then we're talking back home. I have about 4,000, maybe 5,000 landscapers. I mean, that's how big that competition is up there. Like I would put it about 4,500 around there. But
they're not in MDC, man.
They're not in MDC, and they're not doing what I'm doing.
Well, they don't have your story, dude. That's the thing. Is that me and him always say that. Look, at the end of the day, the only competition is with yourself. And that's why we outlast our competition because of that. Because all these guys are trying to compete, trying to do what we're doing, whatever. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, dude, we got people in MDC that are next door neighbors to us that are in business. They go to the same estimates we do. You know why we don't care is because we focus on ourselves. Because that's the only person you're in competition with, man. And like I said, they don't have your story.
And you just got to keep getting better and better, every time you got to get better. And that's what the weekly meetings, what I like too is that sometimes you guys repeat the same thing, but I like that because people need to hear it multiple times, because
it's a reminder.
Yeah, because if not, you start like waving off it a little bit, and oh shoot, I got to remember, do it again. So you have to, those weekly meetings.
Accountability.
Even though I haven't been like posting on there, I've been on the meeting. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but after that, I'm like, I've been busy, trying to just figure out a system.
Yeah, those weekly calls, that's what they are, right? And I always mention it at the beginning of the meeting. Say, hey, listen, there's only so much that I can teach you guys that's with business. Like, there's only so much, right? But these meetings are more for, like you said, accountability. Even I've been in the game 19 years. Even for myself, there's no way I'm gonna tell you guys to do certain things, teach you guys certain things, and then I'm gonna go out and do different. Like, and we're all human. There's a lot of times, especially in my level, like you want to veer away from things, right? You want to go the easier route, but I'm like, dude, I just yelled at my guys and told them to get on their shit, and I'm gonna go do something different. I can't do that. I can't. I'm gonna hold myself accountable. So that's those weekly Zoom meetings, that's what they are, man. Accountability and a reminder of the things we already know. Because most of our information is going to be in the classroom section. Like, it's all there. I'm giving it all. We're giving it all. Copy and paste of, an operation that we have where we're doing over 500K a month. So it's there, but no matter what, we say we still need that reminder. So
yeah,
it's I enjoy those calls myself. But anything else you want to tap into, Stan?
Are we doing pretty good on time? We're good, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be kind of cool, man. Let's do like a in-person type of quick little coach session, man. So let's talk about a little bit. Where's the current business right now? Like, where's it standing? And where's it you're trying to take it? Let's say another 7 months. Like, where do you want to take this thing? And so we can try to figure out where the current struggle is, and if we can maybe help you out real quick.
I mean, obviously, I want to grow. I want to grow at least. I don't know. I'm really aiming for $1 million revenue by the end of the year, and I really think I can. I mean, getting back home tomorrow or tonight, getting back home tomorrow. I mean, I got big jobs lined up, and it goes back to exactly gaining the people's trust. We got this cabin that's about two hours away from us. This doctor wants us to go ahead and put a bunch of rock up for him in the walls, stone walls, and I mean, in about 3 jobs that I have lined up, I should be hitting about 150 on just those three jobs.
Let's go, man.
So, I mean, there's no reason why I can't hit $1 million. I just need to get in a system figured out. I got to buy my time back. I think that's my biggest struggle, buying my time. And I think it's just because I struggle so much with the personnel. But I think we had that conversation driving over here, that you just got to let people be people,
Let people be people and let the SOPs handle the rest.
Yeah, let's go a little deeper on that so that people watching too. So basically, if you want to talk about it a little bit, Alex, of what we kind of got into.
Yeah, so I think I guess here what we're, kind of like that onboarding call we had, right? Like, where are you at now? Where do you want to be? So you want to be at past $1 million in the next year, let's say. And it sounds like what's going to be the determining factor, or what's really kind of going to hold you back, is time, right? Buying your time back. And for me, I would say to solve that is go heavy on the calendar. Wake up at, whatever it is, 5 a.m., however you feel comfortable, 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., write down exactly what is it that you do, through the whole day, right? And that's typically where the next level starts, where we have master's tier. That's for people that's one of the first things I do with the people in master's tier, which is people we get to 1 million and past 1 million. And that's the very first thing I'm going to ask for. Like, all right, what are you doing throughout the day? Yeah, so I think I guess here what we're, kind of like that onboarding call we had, right? Like, where are you at now? Where do you want to be? So you want to be at past 1 million in the next year, let's say. And it sounds like what's going to be the determining factor, or what's really kind of going to hold you back, is time, right? Buying your time back. And for me, I would say to solve that is go heavy on the calendar. Wake up at, whatever it is, 5 a.m., however you feel comfortable, 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., write down exactly what is it that you do, through the whole day, right? And that's typically where the next level starts, where we have master's tier. That's for people that's one of the first things I do with the people in master's tier, which is people we get to 1 million and past 1 million. And that's the very first thing I'm going to ask for. Like, all right, what are you doing throughout the day? What's your calendar like? If you tell me, hey, listen, I don't run off of a calendar, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you to go do. So once you have your whole week laid out in your calendar, then I'm going to start pinpointing in what areas are we, where are we spending the most of our time, and which one of those is going to cost us the least to go delegate. Sometimes we have guys doing $1 million and they're still running around, delivering material to their guys. I'm like, dude, that's hour and a half. That's 3 hours a day. We got to get rid of that. They're still delivering material, and then, maybe checking in on job sites. That's 5 hours a day. So we have to get rid of it. And super simple. We just hire a PM, build an SOP for him, hire a project manager. That's going to be the communication between your customer, your guys, and then also that's going to keep them 3 days ahead, just like you do. And then literally just one switch, you buy 5 hours of your day back. Then again, obviously, it's going to be different for everybody. So I would say as soon as you get back home tomorrow, tighten up that calendar. Make sure that you're running off of pure. If there's something, we have to go to the doctor, or this, put it on there. Put it on there. So that way we set realistic expectations of, like, all right, dude, in order for us to hit double the output, these are the places where we have to go replace you to put, more effort into, whether it's sales, whether it's managing, whatever it is. But as soon as you get back home, we need to dial in your calendar, and then that's going to tell us what exactly we need to do.
Hey, I would say to that too, something. I know when we talked about it when I first got here, I was like, look, man, we need to focus on building your life and then the business around it. And I know that sounds crazy because, like, oh man, I need to get to a certain point of business for me to allow myself to do that, but. Dude, trust me, this business shit is always going to be here. The problems are, the fires you got to put out are always going to be there. The guy's not showing up, that's always going to happen. Like, whatever it is, right? There's a reason. So at the end of the day, just focus on, it sounds like your family, whatever else. What are the top 3 things, right? For him, it's, gym, trucks, and family, whatever it might be, right? And just put that in your calendar, and then every other white space in the calendar, you filling up with work. And that it'll help you a lot, man, because like I said, you're always going to be climbing, dude. You're built just like us. We have the same mindset, or else you wouldn't be in the group, right? It's like what is that next level? What is it? Like, we're messed up in the head, but that's my whole point, man. Make sure that you put your family first, your life first, because this stuff is never going to go away.
And that definitely probably is my biggest struggle right now,
Calendar.
Yeah, I would say that. And I mean, it took me a little bit. I'm finally getting the crew where I want them to be. They're not 100%, but I think we go back to just creating a system that's going to work. Don't depend on people, depend on the system. I think that was my biggest lesson for today, and I'm definitely going to go home with that mentality, because I think I've been depending on people and not systems. And obviously that's something that I have to fix and make sure that I write it down, because obviously I want my family to be okay, but I also want to be there for them, so
time that's huge. Time back. So as soon as you go back home, dial in the calendar. And then, as usual, man, if you need help, let us know. I think I'm going to make a section in the classroom section talking about calendar, because that's very important.
I feel like when you hear that, you're like, what do you mean? Like, you have to see it visually. What we're talking about.
People don't understand. Like, they probably look at me like, dude, why aren't you on the field all the time? And my days are so different than everybody else's, right? Because it depends how much you want to buy your time back. I could probably make another couple 100K a year, but it's like, man, I've bought my time back. Like today was, my day consisted of gym, podcast, we're gonna go out to eat, and then we'll hit 2 job sites, and that's it. So yeah, but it obviously, that's why I looked at my calendar, but it's like I run a lot more efficient that way because the moves I make, this morning, by the time everybody woke up, I already closed, $200,000 in deals. So it's like, you have to figure out also what helps you operate at the most optimal rate. And it's different for everybody, right? I know that when I go 6 days a week, nothing but just work, I'll push myself, but it's like, he'll even call me and say, oh, what's wrong, man? It's like, I don't find a point to this. And it's like, dude, you just made another 600,000. It's like, I don't care. But it's like when you let me run, with a day where 4 hours, yesterday, went to have coffee with my wife, worked out with her, and say, dude, I come home and, you might find me on a Sunday working. I'll close 300,000 in one day. So it's just like you kind of have to figure out, just like I always expect you guys to figure out what makes your people tick inside of your business. It goes the same way for you. It starts with you, because if you're forcing yourself to do certain things that you're not, that for a fact that, or living your life a certain way where you're not optimizing, everybody's gonna suffer, dude. Everybody. So the calendar, as soon as you get back, you need to get on the calendar, man. And then this actually goes back to another question I had here. This is it's crazy because we started talking about that, but what's a challenge? Like, no, what's your go-to productivity hack? Like, because I know we all work different, just like we talked about. Like, what's your hack where I think us higher achievers, like, we have hard time concentrating in one task, or at least I know that's how me and Stanley are. Like, we really got to force ourselves, and I'm sure you're similar. Like, what's a hack that you have that most people wouldn't think of, that you're like, man, this is a hack that I need to know that I'm going to be productive for the next 3 to 4 hours?
Would you like a system that?
Yeah, like something, it could be like, for example, for me, I even wrote this on my planner today, like, did I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30, and it's just like from 4 a.m. to like 7, I'm just so locked in, dude. Just locked in the basement. Like, I'll go in the basement, cold ass basement, put my hoodie on, put my hood on. I don't even need videos or like, I just lock in, dude. But when it comes to like from like 10 a.m. to like 3, like, I struggle to be productive because I just feel like there's just so much going around. Even though I'm not involved in operations, I struggle. Like, I have to have motivational videos, and so like I just realized that, like, man, like if I wake up at 4 a.m. from 4 to like 6, that's my hack. I don't know if there's something. Do you have to go to a coffee shop or?
I mean, to me, and I've kind of let go of this because I've been so busy. But to me, I wake up and I go for a run. And I've been running for years. Except lately because I've been so stressed out and with work and the workload. I mean, I realize that I'm growing, I'm still small. There's still so much for me to learn, but I do got to get my system back as far as getting up, going for a run, working out, getting my mind straight. That's what keeps me going sometimes. And maybe that's why I've had bad days, because I haven't been working out in the morning,
And dude, it's a good topic to hit, in my opinion, right? Because that's what we're going back to what we were just talking about. Like, I need you to go back and figure out for a run, dude, we can't. I mean, 30 minutes, that's all you need, a good fucking run. Yeah. So it's like, how can we get 30 minutes in the morning for you to run and take all that anger out?
Yeah. And
something simple as that, dude.
It really does work for me. I guess I've never thought, but man, I'm running, I'm working out. My mind is somewhere else than the workout. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I already know what I'm going to be doing, 6 in the morning, I better have a plan before my guys get there, because if I'm coming up with a plan at 6 a.m., I'm already behind.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, dude. So we need to think even further, right? Like, how can if my guys start at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., how can I gain that hour before they start? Or how can I buy my time back to the point where they don't need me until 7:30? That way you wake up at 6, drink your coffee, maybe hang out with your kids if they're up, whatever, go for a run, come back, shower, and then you start the day.
Or they're there set up the day prior. You know, like shoot big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, whatever you got to do. You know, and I think it goes back to like he said, what we were talking about. Like, dude, build your, like, it sounds like, okay, running, family, whatever that third thing is, right? We always say 3. I don't know why, but fit that in, dude, and then we'll figure out what happens after that. We'll figure out the fires. But I promise you, like you said, dude, if you can't go run for 30 minutes, yeah, dude, this stuff is always going to be here. The guy's complaining this or that. It's always going to be there.
But I'll tell you where it comes from, though, right? Like, for me, that was the biggest thing, and Stanley was the one that helped me push me out of that comfort zone. Like, there was no way I was going to go work out at 9 a.m. and then go have coffee with my wife for 3 hours. It's just like, I'm like, dude, that's like me saying I'm going to let my business fail. It's like, no, you're not, dude. Just literally go set up the systems to the point where your business doesn't need you. It's not going to stop. But just... you're still in that phase where I get it, right? I understand that because it's so engraved in me as well. I still get it sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm gonna be hanging out all day on a Wednesday. Like, wait, I'm gonna go work out, have a podcast, go out to eat, and then, whoa, like, but it's like it's that thing where you kind of have to switch that mindset. It's like, as long as you plan for it. Trust me, you're not letting go of the grind, if that makes sense. Because I feel like right now you're like, dude, I gotta and then I would say that to myself. You know, there was times where I'm like, man, I'm doing all this for everybody, and this is gonna be those days, dude, where you're gonna like, dude, I'm doing all this for everybody. I gave up everything for everybody, and then somebody like your wife or my wife would check your ass. It's like, hey, man, ain't nobody tell you to give up shit, and then you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, in all reality, nobody told you to give that up. Like, for me, working out is something that I need in my life.
Yeah.
It's not about even how I look no more. Dude, it's like, it's something that I need. And when I gave that up, I was an asshole. And then I'm looking around, well, I'm giving it up because I need to make sure this all works. So it's like, dude, just so you know, you don't have to give that up and this could still work. You chose to give that up. So, you know, and then it came from the place of like, it's a scary place to be in, right? Like, man, I don't have no room for error. I don't have no room to fail. I don't have no room, but start taking that back. Like I said, that's why I'm back. You know, I was in that spot not too long ago, a few years back, and I gained fucking 38 pounds that I shouldn't have on me. Literally, dude, I came from a bodybuilding world. I've competed 3 times at national level shows, fucking bodybuilder, and I was 38 pounds overweight, which I got to show you a picture they just sent me. Fucking, because I felt like I had zero room for error, and I felt like if I took 1 hour to work out for myself, everything was gonna fail.
Yeah, it's scary. It definitely is scary, you know. I think one of the things I remember too from one of the meetings was, ain't nobody coming. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody freaking coming. And at some point you gotta, I mean, I think being realistic is a big thing, man. You just gotta snap out. Ain't nobody coming. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody coming. So you just gotta wear your big boy pants and shake it off and keep going. And it's tough. Trust me, it's tough. Sunday, I ain't gonna lie, I've had a few times I'm like, what the F did I do? I should have stayed in my job, man. But then I'm like, man, I'm like, hey, man, hey guys, I'm just playing, man. Can you guys get me back?
I knew my 9 to 5 back.
Nah, man. But then I'm like, hell no, take orders again? Hell no, man. This shit, I'm the boss. You know what I mean? It's my business. Yep. You know, and you know, I remember when I left my job, you know, I remember calling my wife, and I told my wife, I don't want to be here no more.
What'd she say?
And she was like, I think you're frustrated. I just think you're frustrated. And I said, nah, man. I said, I'm not. I was like, I'm leaving. And I'm like, and I'm going to build a freaking kingdom, you know. That's exactly what I told her in Spanish. Le dije, no, ya me voy. Construiré un imperio, you know. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, you know. I'm gonna build a freaking kingdom, but obviously that's gonna come with a lot of headaches, a lot of hard work, a lot of follow through, consistency, a lot of failure, I think, you know. And definitely a lot of failure.
It's a growing pains, man.
What was her response to that, man?
When I told her,
Yeah.
she stayed quiet. You know, my wife's always been kind of. I mean, she knew that I had already made my mind. You know, there was no coming back. You know, and that's exactly what I did, guys. You know, I left my job. I didn't make a lot of noise. I didn't let people. I'm leaving. Some of the people just one day showed up and I was gone. You know, what's Saul? No, he quit. What do you mean he quit? What do you mean he quit? And I was like, yeah. And then I disappeared. Like I freaking disappeared from everybody from that workplace. And I went MIA and I did my thing. You know, and now that they're seeing me, they're like, man, this dude started his own business. You know, and he's actually doing good. You know,
And he's surviving. Shit.
yeah. My boss just this Monday, he texted me, my ex-boss, and he was like, man, somebody told me you started your business. And then I'm going through TikTok and I was like, that looks like Saul. And he's like, oh crap, it is Saul. And then he wanted a service. We went in and fixed his irrigation system.
That's dope.
That's awesome, brother.
Hey,
That's awesome.
so I want to tap into that too, right? Like, how important do you think it is to have a partner that supports the crazy shit that we do? It's pretty crazy.
Very.
To cash out your phone, say, hey man, I'm gonna quit my job that I've had for 20 years, and then I'm gonna cash out my 401k, and for her to be okay with it.
You know what?
Maybe she wasn't, right, but she supported somehow.
I just posted a picture with her yesterday when I came over here, you know, and I don't do that a lot, you know. I don't post a lot of stuff, like personal stuff, but, you know, I posted, man, a man's success is thanks to the woman that was willing to go to war with him, you know, and she's always been willing to go to war with me, you know. So
That's awesome, man.
She might not support, I mean,
In that moment.
no, she might not like agree with all my decisions, but yeah, she stands next to me, man. So I'm very blessed to have her too. And you know, that's another reason why I'm like, man, I gotta make this happen. You know what I mean? I ain't got no other option, man. I already messed up quite a bit.
And you're like, hey man, I talk big shit to her already. I gotta come through.
Yeah.
She's like, she just sees you on your downest. You said kingdom.
Yeah. So,
No, it's dope, man. But
yeah, you need to have the right woman, man. You need to have the right woman, and she's.
yeah, it's dope,
she
man.
just, you know, she.
I think it's super important. It's a to me it's a must because it's like, who are you surrounded? If you're married, who are you around the most?
Yeah, my wife, you know, and she's the one that has to hear all my nagging at times, you know, where I'm like, F this and F that, and you know, she's a real good woman, man. My wife is a real
Blessing,
good
man.
woman, you know. So
Shout out to the wives, man, that deal with us. It's yeah, I think that's why I asked it because I think it's a blessing is an understatement, right? Because they a lot of times get the short end of the stick, right? And like even though, like you said, they might not agree. I guarantee that 99% of the time they don't agree with the shit we're doing.
yeah,
But they still support. Even if they don't fully support, they don't stop you from doing it. And then again, I feel like it's that happy medium where also I think if we didn't have somebody like that, we'd probably be doing some pretty stupid. Like we would probably do a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing as far as like even business decisions. Where there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fire 12 people in the team. And she's like, I wouldn't do that. I think it's your fault. And I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. But then I go to bed, I'm like, man, I'm not gonna agree with her, but.
yeah,
Maybe she's right a little bit, and so it's really cool, right? And now my wife, now that her kids are older, well, she always has. She's involved in the business now, so she's part of the team. She works a few hours a day. She's still mother of 3 kids that are, pain in the ass some days, but she. I think it's pretty fun to have her involved, and at the same time now she sees it, and I know at one point your wife will see the vision, because at the beginning, when my wife started, like I know she didn't see the vision at all, but still support her, right? But when I've had a crazy idea or whatever it is, or like you said, her quitting her job, or she wouldn't really agree with it, but we always come through, man. We always come through, like whether it's after 10 mistakes and we have to bounce back 10 times, but we come through. So I'm sure, just by the sounds of how your wife is, she's very similar to mine, and she will, at one point, that little bit of doubt that they sometimes have in us, they'll be gone. And then it gets even better from there, dude, because you come home with some crazy shit. Like, I'll come home right now and tell her, hey, man, then I'm going to build out 10 podcast studios. She's like, all right, great. So, like, when are you going to start? And it's like, what? Before he was like, what are you talking about? So it gets fun, right? It gets fun. You know, hopefully later on down the road, as the load gets a little bit easier with the kids, small kids, you know, your wife gets more involved, because I think it's pretty cool, right? Because once they see the vision, I think you get 10 times stronger. Because another thing, I think us as men, I think me and Paul had talked about this quite a bit. We tend to hold everything inside and I don't think we realize how much they're willing to be there for us. And I think it comes more from a place of, like, we don't want to hurt them, because if you dump all of your problems to them, they're not really going to understand more of worry. You know, there's times, you know, where I feel like, even now, right, I told my wife some of the problems I have going on, and she's like thinking her life is about to collapse. I was like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have told her that. Like, oh no, we're good. She's like, well, why'd you tell me this? And I'm like, yeah, you know, we're good, which we are. Just like one little problem I had where it's just like, so, but once they're more involved and they understand it, you just get 10 times stronger, which is pretty, it's pretty dope to have that support. And
she is going to start helping me. You know, that was the plan too. So at some point I'm going to have her on payroll too, but it's slowly too, you know?
Yeah.
And I told her, look, let's get straight, okay? Don't think I won't fire your ass. I'll fire her. So I'm like, and she was like, well, if you fire me, you still have to support me. And I was like, damn it, man, she's right.
Try coming home, that door might be locked, man.
Right. It was like, listen, man, I'm home before you. So
it's fine. What you eating tonight?
Right. Oh, you say you fire me? That's cool. Yeah. Shit, what do you think about eating tonight, man? No lunch tomorrow? All right, great.
Shoot. You still got to sleep tonight. Right. I'll be up.
No, it's pretty cool, man. Like I said, it's fun to, you know, to have that person there. And it's like the mother of your kids is just like, it's a whole different, to have that person support and be there and watch you go, you know, sometimes cry, sometimes, yeah, because it's just like, just for them to watch you evolve and to evolve with them is pretty dope. You know, my wife will see me today. It was like, man, like, I'm shutting everything down. And then I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm like, man, I'm about to open up another 3 companies. And it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And it's just, you know, just them watching us evolve. I think it's a pretty cool thing. But, you know, like I said, they're one more reason why we got to keep pushing. But, Stan, you got anything else? Or we'll go into a quick Q&A. You know, see if he has any questions. Obviously, he's met me today. Questions for me and you, like, unless you have anything else that you think you want to tap into.
No, I got some at the end I want to say, but I would say, yeah, no, I love his story, dude. I love the fact, you know, thank you again for sharing, you know, everything you've been going through. And again, it's only been 7 months. That's insane, dude. That's crazy. A lot of guys have been, I talked to a guy the other day, his family, he's been in business for like since 2001, and it's been the same thing every year, you know, and they wanted something new. And, but dude, look at you, dude. 7 months in, you're killing it. You're here. This is really only the beginning, so I think, you know, I'm just pumped to.
It's dope.
Yeah, he shared his stories.
Inspiring, honestly, man.
Yeah.
What have you implemented Java yet or no?
Not yet.
Slacking, man. We found the department he's slacking on.
Right? Yeah. You know what? I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not the most tech guy, you know. So I feel like I'm barely getting to do a lot of like the techie stuff, you know. And that's why I need to buy time to do that.
Just sit down and actually implement.
Because I've been out in the field with these guys, you know, out getting dirty with them, and I need to get out of that. But I figure that I got to do that. At some point, I have to go through that process too. So, you know?
Let me ask you, brother, how you're here right now in Chicago? How are they still running?
My guy already called me twice, you know. Shoot, I think, if not more, you know what I mean. But it's
They'll survive.
No, it's about the system. We go back. I need to set up a fucking system
Yep.
where he's gonna
be fine. Yeah.
he's gonna be fine.
Because what if you couldn't go back, dude?
and
What
it-
for what some crazy reason? That's what me and
What
him
if
had
the
this.
flight gets canceled? Oh, it doesn't have to be that crazy. What if it's canceled or?
Yeah.
And his freaking 51-year-old man, he called me, hey man, I already cut the tree, so I'm gonna send you some pictures and blah blah. I'm like, all right, well, hey, good for you, you know. Keep cutting them damn trees.
Take that
you
shit
know?
out the SOP, man.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, call me when it's done. You know, not to tell me how you cut this freaking branch off. You
I
know?
cut 2 limbs. He probably started an SOP, man. Whenever you cut 2 limbs, call the boss.
But then again, right? If we don't have a track list, he's probably thinking in his head like, man, he's probably stressing. Let me just let him know what's going on.
Yeah, that's
but
what
to
I
you,
said. It's
you're
no
like
harm.
Yeah, but and not that you know, it's just. But yeah, we have to just get them with that list, and they're like, okay, this is where I need to be productive and make everything go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't do it, and I'm sure you know. That's
Yeah.
why you're laughing about it, because they mean no harm. As human beings, we just do what we think is the best thing to do to the best of our ability at that point in time. You know, like our guys, same thing, right? Before at the beginning, say, oh, let me call him for everything. And it's like, dude, I don't want to talk. It's not that I don't want to speak to you, but I have all these other things that, unless it's my wife calling, I'm probably not going to answer your phone call, dude. Like, I just, like you said, I don't want to hear that you cut 2 limbs off of a tree. Like, I'm trying to solve a $300,000 problem that I have right now, dude. Like, call me when it's done, so I know I'm going to get paid to solve a portion of the problem I have.
And you know, the job was to prune 25 trees, and I'm like, okay, that should keep them busy for these couple of days. You know what I mean? And nah, man, he's still, hey man, I'm on my way over there. I'll be there right now. Hey man, I just stopped to get a coffee, man. Hey man, shut up. Why you calling me for that? You know what I mean? Why you calling me for that? Like, come on, man. Like,
you
know what to do. You know where I'm at. Do your share, I'll do mine. You know.
You want a coffee? Oh, I forgot you're in Chicago. My bad, man.
Yeah, you know. And it's the same since yesterday with my other guy. I got 2 good guys. They're good. These guys are good.
Good at what they do, yeah.
But they need direction, you know. I'm like, I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, man, these guys could do their own thing, man, but they want to be told what to do. And I'm like, well, I'm good in telling people what to do. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'll tell you what to do.
But then again, right? But you are, but do you want to be there all the time to tell them what to do?
No. You know what? Honestly, I need, like, I know I need an estimator because that's where a lot of my time's going to. But I
think we can buy your time back other places. Like, we just create those SOPs of, it's a checklist, right? For the people who don't know what a SOP is, I didn't know what it was not too long ago, right? But if literally a checklist of all of the things that you say to give them direction, if they have a checklist, even if you have to print it out and put it on a damn clipboard, print one out for that guy. So give him one for every day of the week and say, hey, these are the things that you have to check off for every job site you go to. If you get stuck in one of these, call me. And then when they call you, tell them how to do it. But after that, you're going to revise that SOP, change it until there's no more phone calls. And then you replicate that with everyone in your company. And then you can, because sales, I'll be honest with you, it's probably the last thing you got to get rid of. It's more of all of those phone calls and all those things that could literally be solved with a checklist.
I think it goes back to the whole calendar thing too. Like at the end of the day, right now you're like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I got to do a checklist. When do I got the time for that? But that's the thing. Until you get on a calendar, anybody watching, until you're on a calendar and you see where you're screwing up, or you can come to someone like Alex and say, yeah, this is what I'm doing every day, man. See, I can't get rid of nothing. He said, dude, there's like 18 things you shouldn't. Why are you touching those things? You got 3 different people touching one thing. So let's get rid of those things, and then let's set up after every project. You take a day to say, hey man, let me do my job tracking. Let me see where, what calls I got. And then after, dude, think about it. After five projects, you're gonna be a whole different company after one. So it's just the calendar first, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yep. And then also, and if it doesn't, then we're like, all right, dude. Then because a lot of times people are like, man, I want to do 2 million by next year. It's like, all right, dude. Well, get on your calendar, and you'll be able to tell me that that's not possible for you, not because of you're not capable of it, but you'll come to realize that we only have 24 hours in a day, and you only have so many systems to support so much help, and you get the result where, dude, you won't be able to give the output that is needed for $2 million. Simple as that. It's not. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying, do you have the capability to give the output that is needed to hit 2 million? And then you go back and look at your calendar. It's like, man, actually, no, I would have to squeeze out another 3 hours out of the day. Okay, great. Now, let's buy the whole saying about buying your time back. So now let's buy those. You need 3 more hours in a day. Okay, great. So now let's go into your calendar, see how we can get rid of some tasks that are taking 3 hours out of your day. That's simple. Now we can hit 2 million. And that's kind of where we're gonna have to start. It goes back to the calendar. But yeah, once you get back home, get on the calendar. We'll figure out where you're spending most of your time, and then we'll figure out, okay, this is the portion of your day where we need to get rid of. And it might be something so simple as, like we had somebody in our group. It was like they were dumping all of their clippings for tree removal every single morning. I'm like, why are you coming in 2 hours early to dump everybody's shit? Pay somebody an extra 2 hours to come in and dump the leads should come in 1 hour, and just, you're paying 1 more hour, but you're gaining 2 hours a day. And I was like, oh man, I didn't think about that.
Because you're so in the weeds.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're so in the weeds, man. You can't. You think like, oh, there's no way out. I just gotta work harder. I gotta stop running.
Yeah.
No, dude. No, you're just in the weeds. You just can't see it. So that's why it's important to have someone like Alex in your corner, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. And for the last portion of this podcast, we'll because obviously I want you to make the most out of the trip. Q&A, man. Free game for questions. Any questions you have for me, for Stan, that you would want me to answer. Like I said, it doesn't have to be business related, because for me, like I said, I don't separate business and personal at all. It's all one. It's in conjunction.
I mean, where do you see MDC going to?
Man, that's a long question. But where do I see it?
Yeah.
I've been asked this question a lot, and me and Stan talk about it a lot as well. So I'm spending most of my time in MDC to grow that portion of it, but in the span of we're all over the states already, right? That's already to begin with. But where do I see it? Even in 2 years from now. In 2 years from now, I see MDC being 10 times the size in terms like how many people we can help. Like right now, we have about 100 guys that we're helping at a time. And give me about 2 years, I'll be able to help about 1,000 at a time. So just scaling what we have right now. I mean, what we have right now, I don't think it can get any better, man. You get into a program that costs you less than $3,000, and then people go from 0 to 700-800K in less than 6 months. So I don't think it can get any better than it is right now. Obviously, we can always improve. We can always get better, but the level of entry, I don't think it can get better. So I just want to figure out, how can I 10x what I have, the ability to help other contractors without having to put 10x the amount of effort I put into it. And then also continue to develop the tiers that we have, right? We have the lower tier, which is, under $3,000. Then we have master's tier, which is more of a one-on-one approach, where I work with you side by side, run the business with you. I only take 10 people at a time for that. We have a waiting list. And then after that, my overall goal and end goal is to come in and to buy into companies. It's already been done. We're testing a few things here and there, but on a bigger scale. Like, I want to be able to come to your town. Partnerships, right? Partnerships where I come into your town and say, hey man, so let's give me 10 companies here that you think would be good companies that we can merge together. And we would have the capital to come in and buy those 10 companies and package them together and just start taking over cities, towns, states, and all of that. Like, just giving the opportunity for people to scale beyond what we think is possible. Helping you scale your business from 0 to $1 million, even to 5 million, is nothing compared to what I've been seeing and what I'm around every single day. Now, I want to take that mentality and also give you the ability to be a part of it.
I like that answer because knowledge is about sharing it, right? It's useless if we just keep it to ourselves.
Absolutely, man.
So I like it.
That's what I always tell guys coming. They ask like, "Oh, you got people in the group that are in your area?" I'm like, dude, if they're doing something that works for them, that's only going to make us better. Vice versa. Like, and again, it goes back to, dude, I can't be scared if Johnny over here is killing it better than me. It's going to keep me on my toes. So that's why we love that. Like I said, dude, obviously in this industry, or really any industry, right, there's a lot of gatekeeping, whatever, but I think that's what also keeps you small, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's I think that's the biggest reason why we've stayed small for the longest, especially I think in the Hispanic community. Like, I think that's the biggest problem we have is it's like, hey man, like, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm doing because it's like you don't do that. It's like, and I'm like, dude, why not? It's like if I can get him to be in a better place, like, dude, there's so much out there to eat. Like, if I can help him and push him forward to eat a little more food, why not?
And you do get that a lot, and it's usually from the same culture, I'll be going to Home Depot and looking at me like, you can tell right away because they see us going in there branded, everybody's uniformed, everybody's like, boom. I'm big on uniforms, my guys are always in uniform,
branded,
wherever we go, we got to be in uniform, So I think that's one of the biggest
changing the industry, dude. That's another big thing with MDC, man. Like, I want to change the way we're looked at. Like, the other day I went to Starbucks and I got laughed at because I told them what I did for a living. Like, I was in a drive-thru and my Lambo, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I said, "I'm a landscaper," and she laughed and she caught herself. She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh." I said, "No, it's okay." But I want to change that, right? Like, who said that just because you're a landscaper you can't drive a Lambo? Dude, getting a Lamborghini is not the hardest thing in the world. It is not the hardest thing in the world. But that's why I'm actually amazed of how, why they think that I shouldn't have one. It's like, dude, it's a freaking car that's not very hard to achieve. But no, because you're a landscaper, you're in construction, you're not supposed to have that. You're supposed to walk in here dirty. You're supposed to walk in here with your guys, with raggedy shirts. No, you're supposed to, fuck that. I want to change that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's something that I picked up good from, my previous, employment, because I always been kind of clean-cut dude since I was a little boy. And that's kind of a mentor told me, based upon somebody's appearance tells you a lot about their work ethic as well, and that's something that I do try. I try for my people to work as clean, for us to look clean all the time, for us to be representing the company in a clean manner. And a lot of people don't see stuff like that. A lot of people, they're in the raggedy trucks, raggedy uniforms. They
ripped shirts.
Yeah, people. Yesterday when I was doing the day before when I was doing the estimates, people look at you, how you look. Are you branded? They go outside and they always pick at what you're driving. How professional do you look? Do they want to do business with you?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that when you show up ready to impress, people are gonna take you more serious.
People appreciate that, man. It's just,
Right, so quick intermission there. We have a bad storm going on, so the whole power went out real quick, but back on. We'll a couple other things to wear.
Oh yeah, you got any more? He had some good questions, man. Any more questions from me or Stan?
Nah, man, besides the whipping system that I asked you about, I'm like, what the heck? You know what a whipping system is?
If anybody knows what a whipping system is, hit us up.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know how to price it. You know what I mean? Because
I would stay away from it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the best thing. I mean, we could do a drip line, if that's what you're talking about. But if you're...
I think it goes back to, so that goes to, just to you guys get more context, it's about an estimate he went to. Lady's asking for something that he's unfamiliar with. It goes back to, I think that's one of the things that we do have to, I always say, hey, widen your services, but don't get too wide to the point where we're having to spend so much time and resources on learning the thing or the product to the point where we don't make no money. There's a fine line, right? We need to expand our services, but we have to take that lightly, because if we start getting too wide, just to take on all of the work, then we start diminishing the returns on the things that we are getting good at. Also, not yourself, but also your team, right? So we want to make sure that you don't really get too wide to where you're spreading your team too thin to the point where they feel like they don't know what they're doing, and then it's a whole thing, right? So like for stuff like this, really just be honest, say, hey, listen, man, like I don't know what you're talking about. I honestly don't specialize in those things, and just be honest, right? And just don't get too wide.
I think we actually had to talk about this the other day. Talk about, fitness and stuff. And for me, man, I fell off the wagon pretty hard. And I was telling him, like, man, I went back, I didn't.
It's recorded, man. He fell off the wagen.
Hey, man.
And he just ate a bagel today.
I did, but I was like, man, like, because he told me, dude, just get your steps in. You start get back on it, And I was like, man, I was doing it for a couple of weeks there. I think I lost like 20 plus pounds or something. Then I was like, man, this shit's boring, man. I was like, I gotta go on a run, man, because just like I used to run a lot, and it doesn't look like it, right? But I was like, man, I gotta get out there. I love it. I love, the springtime now, so it's a little better outside. And man, I went for like a week and a half straight, and that thing, and then I just tanked after I was pushing myself.
You didn't want to listen.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, man, all you're doing is you're just running from what you should be focusing on. So that's what I think of when you say something, where when I hear a lot of guys come in the group like, oh, but I'm doing this, or I see Alex, you guys are design and build, I want to do that. It's like, dude, but you have a whole maintenance team and you just want to close shop. It's like, no, you're running from something that you should be actually focusing on. All those problems we're trying to run from, if you just focus on that and fix that, things will run a lot more smooth than you think. You don't need to go take on some water thing. When you said that, I was like, what did Alex try to teach you? I don't know what that even is. So yeah, dude, it's like, if you don't even know what it is, that's your answer right there, man.
That's a good point, man. I think that's something I do want to leave the audience with and the people watching this is, a lot of times, I don't even want to call them excuses, but it was a really good talk that we had the other day, and it goes for everybody, right, including myself. When I talk about all these things, I'm not perfect and nowhere near perfect, or I think I will be one day, none of that, right? But when I talk to people and say, hey, man, I just have to do these things, all the, it's like it's your mind playing tricks with you. Your mind is the strongest thing that we possess, right? It's your brain. It's your brain telling you to go do all these other things to not do the one thing you should be doing that you want to avoid. Because it's like when I tell a lot of the guys in the group, hey, listen, man, go get on your calendar. Dude, basic things, dude. 4 basic things to go do. And then they're touching all these other things. And I'm like, dude, did you go do all those other things? No, but I saw you do it. No, dude, don't worry about those other things. And guess what? They're getting no results, because if you continue to avoid the things that are, like you said, boring. Most of the time, yes, it's going to be boring. It's going to be basic. But if you haven't even learned how to walk, how do you think you're going to be able to run a marathon? Simple as that. And it's like, oh, no, let me go try to run the marathon. No, dude, you just don't want to walk because it's boring and you think you know how to do it. Yeah, it's not about you knowing how. It's about, do you have the balls to do that every day? Do you have the discipline to do it every single day? And it's like, it's tough for everybody. Dude, I fall off too. Shit, like, been on, this dieting shit for 16 weeks. And yeah, I fell off multiple times. But that's part of the process. But I know that I have to the only way is to get back on to what I was running away from, and it's the basics. Always to the basics.
I think we go back to being realistic. That's just being realistic. That's just the way it is. How many people can accept that to be realistic about the
self-aware,
situation?
Man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, modern day contractor has been a blessing, and I know I'm gonna grow. There's no doubt in my mind, but I know I have a lot of stuff to buckle down to and get done as well. Because nothing's guaranteed, and I don't expect that. Everything that's been given to me is just an opportunity. That's all I've had. Myself. And all of us. Everybody has a story.
Waking up is an opportunity, man.
Everybody has their own story. You know what I mean? My story is just different than yours, and it's fine. Everybody's different.
Not having a plan B is a blessing, dude. So
it is, man.
You have an edge over people. You may not feel like, you might be like, man, I don't got a fucking plan B, but dude, that right there alone is why you're killing whatever competition people want to say is out there.
Another cool thing that I thought about is being self-aware. Like, I think it summarizes a lot of the things we talked about, is being self-aware and having that discipline to be able to check yourself, like I said, just having not needing somebody to tell you, hey man, you're fucking up. Like, that is something that will push you further away than most people, right? Because and then it goes back to, I think the last thing we'll talk about here is, like, nobody's coming to save you. That's why I said that to myself that day, like that morning. Like, I don't know what I was feeling, because believe it or not, no matter what type of level you're at, this goes for everybody, for you, dude, no matter what level you reach, like, those days are never gonna go away. That feeling's never gonna go away of, like, man, that you're not content. You're not, I don't want to say you're not happy, but you're not, there's something still missing. You're not, the anxiety that we get right now, it doesn't go away. I'll tell you right now, it just gets even harder. You just learn how to manage it better. But, I woke up one morning and I'm like, dude, it really hit me. And I knew this already, right? But it's like, I was like, dude, nobody's coming to save you. Change, make a change. And it literally was due to my schedule, right? Like, and I just kept complaining about it to myself and being down about it. I'm like, I just woke up one day and I was actually at the gym, and I was literally lifting weights, and it just hit me. It's like, dude, nobody's coming to save you other than yourself. And it just hit me. I was like, man, like, I stopped what I was doing. I'm like, you know what? You're right. So let me save myself. I stopped and said, all right, what do you want? How do you want to do things? How do you want your schedule to be? All right, well, I want to wake up, and then instead of going to the gym first, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'm going to go do this. I literally wrote it down, and I went home and told my wife, I came up with a new schedule. This is going to be my new schedule. Then it was that easy, just that moment that it clicked, where it's like, man, nobody's coming to save you other than yourself. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Nobody gives a shit how you're feeling. Even your mom's got her own issues to worry about, man. Like, nobody cares how you feel right now. Get up and do something about it, because nobody has control over your situation or how you feel other than yourself.
Definitely. I agree with that, At some point, you just got to know that that's the way it is. That's it.
Yeah, you just got to move and get it done and get it done.
I hear that too. Was it Tupac song? That's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was hearing when he said that.
We're going to plug the Tupac album here down below.
Oh, man.
Oh, anything else?
I think that's a good one. I mean, I have something I want to end with, I want to say, but other than that, unless you had anything else, man. He wants to jump right in. Hopefully, it sounds pretty crazy out there. We'll see if go get some job walkthroughs in him. But other than that, dude, he was a pro, man, for your first podcast, dude. This is awesome.
I guess I ain't gonna be the last, man. He's gonna make it big. So
he's like, man, as soon as I get home, podcast time.
I'm going, shoot.
You're going hard when you go home.
I'm like, man, I'm missing a lot. I'm looking around. I'm like, man, I got a long way to go, But, yeah, this is great podcast. And I actually had ran it through the girl that's doing the marketing.
Yeah.
I did. I told her what it's going to be to come with us, because
big changes coming, man.
People need to know who we are, exposure. I already wrote it down, we got to put ourselves out there, people want to do business with us because we're different, and that's the best thing,
Have you, I know being in the group, have you, because I push it a lot, have you done your story video yet for your business?
No, not yet, again, because, man, it's been crazy, so.
Talk to your girl, man. As soon as you hop in the plane, man, let her know you need to do a story video.
You, her, and the son, and your kid, because and this goes for anybody watching, because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's anybody can do rock wall or whatever projects or patios like us, but again, it's the story. It's you. There's a reason why you're in business, and people are going with that project because of you. So you need to make that known, put a face to the name. You've been killing it with the content,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So getting that story video out there was huge for us, and I always encourage people to do it. So I would love to see that happen, man.
Yeah, definitely. I got to go. And you know what? She's real excited. Slowly, I'm starting to build the dream team. You know what I mean? Slowly, I'm getting these people pumped up about wanting to be part of the team, and it's coming along. She definitely wants to be part of the team. She was real happy when I offered her to come full time. But I gotta make sure that we're ready for that, and that I'm setting her for success and not failure. So. Yeah, the marketing team is coming together. The design team is coming together. I got some guy on Meta ads, going hard, and
on what? What is it?
On the Meta ads on Facebook.
Oh, Meta. Okay, my bad. Yeah. Meta, Facebook, sweet. Yeah, they're cranking. So you got Instagram too, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they're combined.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. The team. That's what I'm saying. Slowly, just show up every day, but just keep in mind that you want to push to get better every day, every week. Let's not get comfortable, and the team's gonna come together, man. Because I think people always ask, like, "Oh, how can I get a team together?" It's like, dude, get your shit together first. It's like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're so worried about getting the team," where it's like, I'm like, dude, you guys are still waking up at 10 a.m. Like, get your shit together first. Meaning, to your point, it's like everything's coming together. Because the team's coming together because you're gathering all the systems and processes together. And once people see that, people gravitate towards that shit. So it's like, I would just always say, hey, stop looking for the team. Build an empire that the team, is attracted to. Like, the team will be looking for you if you build the right environment.
I think you posted on your story the other day something like, I forget how you said it, but it's like, stop trying to tell people what to do. They'll follow you, right? And I think it's the same thing. It's like, dude, you were sitting here like, man, they just keep calling me. It's like, but you're so in the weeds, dude. You may be doing the same thing to the team too. You may be calling them 15 times a day. You may be you answered.
It might be a reaction to what you do when you're over there.
Dude, there was a moment where like, dude, at the end of the day, we just can't pick up the phone. The guys are gonna call, but they'll figure it out. The fact that you answer though, you're enabling that. So it's kind of like but the thing is, if they see you just cranking, going after it, right? They're gonna think twice before picking up that phone because they know you're on a mission. But if they feel like they can just freely call you and say, "Hey, man, I'm getting coffee right now," it's like, okay, something's going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's it's putting it all together still. Yeah. I'm still in the headache.
No, you're kicking. Yeah, you're doing. I'm just
I'm still in the headache process. I'm sure as soon as I get into that airport today, I'll be like back into the headache. So it was actually good for me to come down here. I took my mind a little bit off the field. Hopefully go back with a fresh mind and new ideas. And start again.
A new process, man.
That new process. Definitely. But yeah, I'm still in the growing pains. I'm still not.
We always will, man. We all are. I am still in the growing pains. Everybody is. So it's all good. It's all good, man.
Just last week, I probably wanted to quit, and then,
now
here I
double
am.
the empire. All right, Stan, what do you want to end it with?
No, I just want to say I want to give you a little target for anybody watching as well. Is like right now, you're going to go back, develop those systems. I want to make sure you're here May 23rd and 24th. We got our MDC Wealth Summit event, our second event ever we've held for MDC. Last year we did a 2-day event. It was awesome. We had about 50 of the members flying. This year it's going to be a little different. The first day is strictly VIP. You'll have access to that being a part of MDC. It's going to be in Chicago. The second day is a few cities out in Manuka. It's at a ranch. It's about 50 acres. It's going to be open to the public this time. The second day.
We're going to cap it at 200 people.
Yeah, just 200 people, just business owners, their team, if they want to bring them. We're going to have a handful of speakers, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to make sure you have those systems in place. You're asking questions in the group. The wins are awesome, right? But what's after that? The growing pains. So just know we're here for you, and I want to make sure no matter what, you, your wife, your kid, you're here May 23rd, 24th, man. Let's make it happen.
Definitely.
Remember, guys, we have close to 100 people in the group, so those tickets are, as soon as we release them, they're probably going to be, half of them are going to be sold. So we are going to have a quick meeting here with our team to try to hash some of that stuff out. And then tickets should be live by the end of this week. And other than that, if you're a contractor and you're watching this, if you have a service-based business and you're looking to scale or have a similar story to Saul, modern day contractors where it's at. Like I said, we're willing to help you guys all the way from starting the business all the way up to generating past $1 million and even further. I will make sure that my team, plugs the link below to make sure that you take that first step, right? The first step is setting up an onboard a call with my team to make sure you're right fit. Because remember, guys, we don't want to just have anybody in there. Mindset, environment is everything for us. So if you feel like you're the right fit for this program and you want to benefit and have a similar story, book a call with my team. And if you do end up signing up, then the very first thing you're going to do is have an onboarding call with myself. So for whoever signs up, I'm looking forward to, seeing you guys on the onboarding call, and obviously, seeing you guys grow. But other than that, I want to say thank you for coming all the way out here. It was a pleasure bringing you out here, and your story it's inspiring to myself as well, just like to many others. And I'm also really excited to see what's to come in the next 6, 7, 8 months, for you in MDC, and see how you evolve. But other than that, I mean, is there anything that you want to last thing you want to say? You want to leave the people with?
I think gratitude plays a big role of success. I just want to say thank you to you guys for helping me grow and giving me the tools that I need. I would highly recommend the program to whoever wants to make it. Whoever's ready for a change, man. This stuff works, man. You do what they're telling you to do, man, you're gonna make money. You just gotta be hungry too. You gotta want it, because ain't nobody gonna do nothing for you. You gotta do it yourself. So you have the right attitude, you will succeed with a modern day contractor, man. And thank you guys for having me out here, man. I never thought I would be in Chicago, especially in a podcast, but here I am, and yeah, Chicago, it's dangerous as I thought. I was thinking, man, you know what? This place dangerous, Everybody has guns here.
Yeah, no, we're not going to take you to the hood, so we're far from that. So yeah, man. Yeah. This so yeah, we'll wrap it here, Stan, unless you want to leave the people with anything else. Other than that, we'll wrap it up here.
That Friday, the May 23rd for the event, we're going to have a running podcast when people come.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to make sure we're going to run this back, and I'm going to see how those systems are doing. So stay tuned, guys.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's go.
Let's go, man.